Rich and Ryan welcome you to the RNR The Stuff podcast.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back to the studio. I am with the co host with the most, Rich, and we are ready to talk about the roads we are going to be traveling.
Oh yes, we've got. I don't know if we made this kind of a bucket list thing, but we are definitely knocking these places off the checkbox as we look at the USA and places to go. And Ryan, what's our next place we're going? What check boxes are we checking off?
Well, I've got one just for me. I mean, unless you really want to come to the East Coast, I'm doing my next meetup on September the 7th at my local library. So that's pretty cool. We normally get around 30, 40 people. And I'm really looking forward to it. Hopefully, my plan is to get my Amiga 4000 all put back together over here. I want to get a network card in it, a little bridge device, and put a copy of my AMail on it and show it off.
Ooh, that is so cool. That is
my
cool.
goal. So we're going to see if I can make that happen or not. And I have an account set up on my email provider for Amiga. And I'm just going to use that, let people send email from it or receive it. And, that's kind of my goal. We'll see if I get there. That'll be a future episode. But for us, our next stop together is BCF Midwest in
Yay.
Chicago.
Chicago, Chi-Town. We're going to get some Italian beefs. We're going to eat some deep dish pizza, and we're going to mess around with old stuff.
I'm interested. I am so in. I've never been there. I've heard great things about DCF Midwest, that it's its own little animal. And I just want to go experience it. And I'm glad you decided to come along with me.
Oh, yeah. And, you talk about it being its own animal, and that's really what's, I think, awesome about these VCF events. There is a federation, and the federation does not necessarily tell everybody how they need to run their show. The showrunners at each location are running the shows the way they work for their community. East feels so much different than the one I have down here, VCF South. Is it South? Are we South?
Southwest.
Yeah, it's Southwest. That's what it is.
Yeah.
It feels so much different. And Midwest, I'm glad it's going to feel its own way. And we'll be able to kind of experience that. If they all felt the same, we would probably be a little bored. But this is making it to where we can say, maybe in another year, that we've been to every VCF show.
Very possible. They're adding a new one next year.
What?
I just saw VCF Montreal is next year.
Oh,
VCF West happened.
Canada.
Exactly. VCF West happened at the same time as Gen Con. So I went to Gen Con. I found out VCF West is at the Computer History Museum in California. It's the old SGI headquarters building.
Dude.
I didn't know that.
We have got to get them to not be on competing weekends or weekends that are back to back. We have got to somehow get those stars to align, because again, dear listener, we're not 20 anymore. We're not going to go to VCF West on one weekend, come home, pack up, and go to Gen Con the next.
Not happening. I needed a good week to recover from Gen Con, let me tell you. And there's one in Georgia. There's VCF Southeast in Georgia. This is the ones I can know off the top of my head.
If we just say VCF West is probably always going to be off limits, right? We can just probably admit that if it's always around Gen Con, it's probably just off limits. The other two, man, that could be a year or so. We've hit every one, and I think that's a really fun goal.
We'll see what works and the schedule and all that fun, but that'd be a great place to go. I'm really looking forward to Midwest, really looking forward to our wrap up after Midwest of what we experienced and what crazy stuff we bought. I imagine we're buying something. But as a non-VCF event, this one is on my bucket list. I always wanted to go to an Amiga show. VCF is all computers, right?
Yep.
It's every whole bunch of stuff. I wanted to go to an Amiga show for a while now. And we're going to Amy West in Sacramento.
That's going to be a blast.
I am so looking forward to that. That's in November, so that's coming up in a couple months. I, it's just one of these things. This is a thing. Uh, my wife Amy said, just go. You want to go do a thing. You want to experience stuff. You need to go. I talked Rich into coming out for a little bit. Glad that happened, and we're gonna have a good time.
Oh, I'm going to be there with bells on, but that's going to be a heck of a thing. I'm going to have a late Friday fly out so I can kind of still work. And then Sunday, even though the latest I could get out was around 4:20, but because of time zoning issues, I think I get home at like midnight or something, bro. So it's going to be a whirlwind weekend. Ryan is going to get out there a little bit earlier. I think you might do some sites. And by the way, dear listener, if you know some places to go in either around VCF Midwest or around AMI West, let us know. Drop a note down below. Do the tippity-tappity and give us some encouragement and things to do and things to eat. And, you know, we always enjoy that.
Yeah, definitely. VCF, or not VCF, AMI West, I found Old Town Sacramento. I found a pinball thing there. There's always my zoo standby. Because I get in Thursday night, it's going to be like 10:30 West Coast time, which I'm going to feel like, I don't know, it's a 1:30 or something to me. I know, right? It'd be like, oh, zombie mode activated. And then I leave Monday morning. I have an 8 a.m. flight out of Sacramento Monday morning, but I still don't get home till like 4.
Yeah. It's just tough to do those one side to the other kind of flights. And, you know, definitely there's going to be some things we want to buy. I don't know what those are yet. I have nothing on my hit list. Do you have anything on your hit list for picking up at either of these shows?
I don't. I have a feeling, especially AMI West, I'm going to be I've devolved to child mode. So who knows what's going to happen there? Because I'll be, it is Amiga stuff. So I'm going to be in the middle of, I don't know what's just happening, right?
Mail call.
Oh,
you
what'd
just
you get?
got a letter. You just got a letter. Ryan, I picked up another Commodore thing. As you were talking about Amiga things and buying those, I got a Commodore. The Commodore, or it's not Commodore. It's the Ultimate 64 Plus L, I think is what mine is model wise. Holy smokes, Ryan.
What is this thing?
Okay, you remember you were down here and I just gotten the Raspberry Pi 1541. And
that's the external floppy emulator, right?
Yeah.
It plugs into the back of your 64. It gives you a Pi that acts as a 1541 drive, and you put a little SD card in it so you can read and write things to it. Super cool. I was super stoked when I saw it.
It's great. The problem sometimes became, of course, I didn't do anything else. I didn't like get it on a network if it could. I don't know. I would pull the SD card out. I would put it in a little USB to SD thing, and I'd bring it to my computer, and I'd move files around, and I would take it back, and I would take the SD card out, and I'd put it back in. I've only touched the barest of surfaces on this Ultimate 2 Plus L that I have. But the first thing I did was, let's plug it in. It takes an IEC location. It goes into the cartridge slot in the back of your 64. Number one, self-powered. Don't have to run a cable, USB to mini. So already convenience-wise, it's better. I don't have another cable that I got to do. The bad thing, it does take up the IEC port. Did I say that right? The serial port, right? Where the drives go.
Yeah, I think so. Well, that's a little round DIN, right?
Yeah, the round DIN. The Pi 1541 I could run in series. I could actually put a physical unit behind the Raspberry Pi 1541, which was really great for when I was doing copying of solid disks, right? I could use a copy program and just dump right to my 1541. So it still has a place around my lab. It still has a place. But this one has a standard USB-A slot. So now I can take it from the Ultimate and then bring it over to my Maxi and just plug it in the back of my Maxi and keep working with my D64 images back and forth.
Oh.
If I want to plug it in my computer, just stick it in the USB slot, move some new D64s on. And it was so great. The other thing that's really awesome, just like the GoTech, how do you select files on the GoTech, Ryan?
I have the little My GoTech, I have a little knob and an LED on it so I can see what's happening and change to them. Does this do something similar to that?
Oh, dude, you press a button and it interrupts the video output from your Commodore 64 and gives you a freaking menu system.
Well, that's kind of cool.
Dude, you use the keys on the keyboard, you use the F keys. And again, I've just scratched the surface. And it's like, I don't know if everyone can remember DOS Magellan back in the day. It was kind of one of the first DOS programs that instead of having to do CLI work, you could actually have a graphical interface you used your keyboard with to move around and copy or things. It reminds me of doing that. But I love the fact it interrupts your output. I don't have to look at the little LCD screen. I don't have to try and tappy little buttons on the side of the box. I'm using the keyboard. So that's as far as I've explored, and I'm totally stoked. But this thing can do cartridge emulation, of course. This thing can do wireless capabilities for, I think, for BBS stuff, for Procom, Telnet.
Yeah, like your terminal.
Yeah, terminal program. Thank you, man. I was dying. It has an Ethernet output, so you can plug it in and you can use that. And I think that also for communications, FTP transfers, if you want to your box. And I'm curious to see, I haven't dug into, what's the FujiNet? Is that FujiNet?
FujiNet has its own box that plugs in. I know that.
Oh, it does? Okay. I didn't know whether it was going to have anything there.
It might.
I don't know.
I
I have to dig in. I'm barely scratching the surface of this thing. It has its own speaker for audio. It has outputs for audio. It has alternative ROMs it can do. I mean, dude, it has printer capability. So while I'm in SwiftCalc, when I'm done with my budget, I can now do a print and get a JPEG that I can then just use normally to print. And that's just a little bit I read about the printer. Who knows what else it can do? I'm totally stoked, man. I am. This is now, folks, every session I'm going to have an update, I think, for like the next 4 or 5 podcasts, because I'm going to scratch something new on this box and I'm going to go there. I'm really excited about getting back into the BBS stuff. Social media can sometimes be such a drag, and I'm curious about re-interfacing online. And so I don't know what you think about that, or if you're doing any BBS stuff, but I'm really thinking about re-interfacing maybe more in that old school environment.
Well, that's really cool. I'm looking forward to hearing what you can actually do with this. I've done a little bit BBS side on the Amiga. I'm starting to play some of the Doors a little bit on and off. And I kind of want to play more and more with that as well. I have a VoIP line and a couple modems, and I'm kind of want to go see if I can get 2400 baud or 9600 over one of the VoIP lines.
You got
have a little.
Who has a?
I do.
Who has a VoIP line anymore?
It's a little terminal adapter plugged into my Ethernet and gives me a.
Oh, okay. Not a line distributed by someone that's a major telecom. That is really just VoIP. I get it now. Yeah, a little box adapter. I think an ATA adapter or something like that.
Yeah, an ATA. I have one of those, and mine's still tied to a Google Voice number. So I have a normal phone plugged into it, so I can actually make a phone call, and it has a phone number and all that goodness. I just haven't plugged a modem into it yet, and that's kind of on my list of things to do.
Well, I kind of jumped in real quick with the mail call because I got excited. I wanted to share that with you and the listeners, and I know Larry's going to be excited about it too.
That's awesome.
And I took away from us talking about your meetup in AMail. How are things programming-wise going?
I think the mail call is amazing. I'm glad it wasn't what stupid thing did Rich buy at 2 a.m. when he was drunk.
That's right. It was actually a good purchase.
This was a good purchase. It's not like, hey, I'm going to buy an Altair or I'm going to buy an MSI and you get the other one. And it's like, that's not what you thought you bought, right? So this is a great purchase and really, really think you're going to get a lot of use out of it. I want to start playing with the BBSs a little bit. If you get on there, I would like to find some that are still using FidoNet or some of those networks. Maybe we can try to send messages back and forth and see how long it takes to go. If I find one locally here and you go find one locally there that are on the same network.
All right, for next recording, I will have some updates about BBSing because my next thing to play with is the Wi-Fi on this box and see what I can do or have to go to the Ethernet. I don't know which one, but that's my next goal.
For my Amiga, I have anyone that I have network enabled can be through the Ethernet port, and some of them, like later versions of Blue SCSI, will do Wi-Fi. There's someone made a driver that converts your serial device to the telnet out, so you can just tell your term program to use that device, and it'll dial the TCP/IP address for you, and it works.
So sweet, bro. So
It's
sweet.
really cool. So I've used it on real Amigas, and I've used it under emulation as well, and I've played a little bit. So I know I can get online once we find some BBSs, and I have periodically connect a couple. I'm looking forward to your exploration, what you get to, and then joining up and seeing what we can do. And even if we go play some trade wars together or something.
Oh, I loved it. Oh, I remember when I popped on with that Wi-Fi modem I had that went in the user port.
Yeah.
It didn't work with my network. I had to bring up like a different router. Everyone, I'm going to quit complaining. Ryan, tell us about AMail.
Well, AMail is moving forward. I still think I'm on track for my end of September, pre-alpha release to folks. That puts me in the timeline for the submitting to this October Amiga utilities contest. I think I'm doing everything correctly. I started within the window from when they announced their thing. That's when it really kickstarted me to start writing this.
That's great.
And it's been going. This is pretty much what I've been doing most of my free time. A little bit of hardware stuff on this 4000, but mostly AMail. So I have it getting email. It's being able to send stuff. I fixed a memory bug and then broke something else. That was kind of cool. But I fixed that now this weekend so far. So it's a lot's coming along. I'm starting to read a little bit of stuff off of disk. So I'm trying to go sync some stuff and get the delete to work. And then I need to go build the like a settings page right now. Because now you got to right now the config file there's a config file on the disk. And you just got to manually edit everything.
That's so cool, dude. That's so old school too. Back in the day, that's how we did things sometimes. Their programs wouldn't have a settings menu. You had to be smart enough to work with the config file.
I'm hoping to get the settings done, but on the order of priority, I'm trying to do this weekend. Goal is to be able to delete a message off the server.
Yeah.
That's this weekend's goal. And then be able to sync what's on the server with what I have on local disk.
Oh, that's awesome.
Those are some goals.
Yeah.
The deletes for this weekend, and we'll see how far I get because whatever. But so progress. I'm excited. I showed it off to a local online Amiga users group as like a precursor. This is what I'm working on. Got a lot of positive reviews, so I'm really feedback. So I'm very happy about that. And of course, I crashed it during my show off because of my mail memory issue.
As a professional person that does demos, that's my job. That is always what happens. That is just part of life. You go to do a demo, and the demo gremlins jump up and say, "Not today, sucker." And just
right.
What just happened? This never happens. Luckily, though, I work for a SaaS company that does great engineering. Just to be honest, my demos go incredibly well because I have such a great engineering team behind me. But no, I'm really glad to hear that you picked that date. It's giving you the fire to get in your belly to just kind of get things done. And dude, having the hardware and the software is kind of nice, I'm sure. Sometimes you might get a little frustrated, and you can just say, okay, guess what? I'm going to go recap something.
Right.
Get done with that. And then you can come back after you accomplish something, the dopamine's hitting, and you're like, let's get back to programming. Clackety, clackety, clack.
100%. And it's been a lot of fun, but that has been my focus. So if you hear me on here, or at least for the next couple of months, that's going to be a vast majority of the work I'm doing, minus our trips coming in, which is amazing. So looking forward to all of this. So you've been doing a little bit of programming. How are your books?
Dude, okay, I've definitely been much more in there. My YouTube channel has stalled because it's hot in the shop, bro. I'm just not being motivated. I'm kind of not motivated. So it's been hot in the shop, which really puts me in a position to be able to work indoors and work with these books that you turned me on to. Oh, last episode, I talked about some things I hope it does in the next book. And they came true, Ryan. They came
What
true.
did they?
They came
Awesome.
true. It was seven programs again, which I really like, having more than four. And
Nice.
it got to the point that it said, all right, here's this next step. You write the program. Now,
Ooh.
it was a little, it's made for kids. I think this is made for young adults, not made for adults. And so, really, logically, you just needed to rewrite a program you'd already written with new information. So, once I saw that, I was able to go back, bring up the code I'd already done, make my modifications to that code, and then run it to be successful. I felt it was really good because it got you thinking about being a programmer. Right? It was more of a logic exercise than it was a true programming exercise. But I felt it was very timely and it was very well placed. So again, I can't say anything negative about these books because they also introduced Go subs in this book. And I was like, great. Remember, we had data arrays in book 2 was an introduction. We had the reuse of data in arrays. And now we've added Go subs and returns. So I'm super stoked about book 4 next week. So I can start digging in and see what it leads me to, which I hope now will be, we're going to give you a little bit of information, maybe even some ideas of a framework for a program, but you go write it. And let's expand on Go sub returns, data, maybe variable changes. I don't know. We'll see what happens in the next book. I'm just excited. Isn't it stupid? I'm just so excited about this book.
That's great. I think they're awesome. So you finished book 3 now?
Yeah. Book 3's in the book.
Okay,
3 is
good.
out. So book 4 is coming up. And I also learned a new thing about my mentor. And for those that are just joining in, I have engaged Claude to be my mentor when it comes to Commodore 64 programming. And I was sitting there and I'm watching a PDF on one screen. I'm typing on the Maxi on another screen.
Mhm.
All of a sudden it hits me. Hey, Claude. What's up, Rich? What do you need? Claude, if I send you an image, can you read the program off that image and then compile it and show it to me in here? Claude goes, of course, idiot. I can do that. And so I take a screenshot of the program, of the PDF of the book, and I dump it into Claude. Claude goes and goes, brr. If it's 2 pictures or 3 pictures, he doesn't care. Claude goes, brr, and then spits out the program in Claude, right? All typed out. Then I can go,
cool.
Claude. Oh, go on. What?
That's cool. I like that.
That was really neat. Then I can go, Claude, can you give me a line-by-line explanation of this program? Claude will freaking do a line-by-line explanation and is like, this variable is for this, and it's used here. It's like, holy smokes, Claude, I love you. Because there's spots where, of course, my logic is right on point. I go, this is what's happening here. That's why this is here. One of the programs you had to speed up the safe had a timer on it. So you got access to the program and you had to figure out in the program how to make that program go quicker. Obviously, I figured it out. And when I put it into Claude and then used him to go back and forth about the program, it had alternative ideas of how to speed things up. And I went, oh, and it even read one of my programs and said there was an error. So then I said, let me try it Claude's way. Wrong. Claude was wrong. Claude thought something was wrong when it was right and told me it was wrong and it needed to be corrected to work. So I just popped in and did it. Nope, broke the program. So Claude is a great mentor, but like all mentors, you've got it's a give and take relationship. You got to take what they give you and verify the results.
Oh, that's a general thing right now. I agree. Your experiences are what my experiences are with Claude or any of the AIs. That it gives me a lot of information, and I'm feeling like I'm getting like an 80% solution of this points me towards a direction where it gives me. Sometimes I give you 2 or 3 different approaches, and you can go look at it and like, yep, I'm going to go do this one. This points me down there and helps me get to where I need to be. So this is great. I'm glad that it's working out. It's really cool. It'll take the image and put it in text for you and get it out there, because I've got a present coming for you at VCF Midwest, but we'll talk about that later.
I need to remember to bring my Commodore security badges. Also, I got those.
Oh, nice.
That's one of my presents for you. Is these are based off the Pennsylvania guys. This is what the Pennsylvania guys wore on their uniforms for Commodore security. So I got to remember to bring this.
It's awesome. So I have something sitting on my desk that you're going to need something to potentially read the page.
Okay, we shall see. Dear listener, stay tuned. I hope it's a 4th edition D&D Player's Handbook.
I do have one of those here, by the way.
I think Larry has one for me too. I think Larry has the D&D 4th edition for me. It's his favorite edition from what I hear.
It is.
Yeah, I think that kind of brings me together, on everything that's been going on lately. How about you? Anything else to add?
I'm enjoying life, enjoying the experiences. I'm super excited about our where our roads are going to take us.
Yes.
Because I'm excited. I'm a little nervous about Amy West, actually. In a way that I'm so excited that I'm nervous that I don't want to hype myself up more than what it is, but I think it's going to be just as cool.
The first time I came with you to VCF East, I was probably in there. I was working really hard to keep my expectations low. And then when I got there, I was like blown away. So I totally get it. And now that I go to like Southwest, VCF East has had expectations that I am incorrectly sometimes apply to Southwest because they are completely different situations. And so Midwest, I feel very set for a great experience at VCF Midwest. So fingers crossed.
I'm looking forward to it. And for those that want to come find us, we'll be there. So find us, say hi. We'd appreciate it.
Tippy tap below if you're going to be there.
Excellent. Looking forward to it. Well, thank you for coming along on our adventure and down the road today. And we'll see you on the next one.
Bye.